truly one of the most amazing people on the planet, and someone I am so proud to call my friend. My life changed when she entered it. Dr. Edith Eger.
Here comes Mama. Here comes Mama. Thank you. What a blessing. What a wonderful blessing. Precious Windy girl. Your brilliance, your beauty, your blessing that God sent you my way is what it's all about, because people don't come to me, they're sent to me. And February is a time when we concentrate on our hearts. February is a month when we talk about love. So what is love? It's a four-letter word. It's called T-I-M-E, time. I'm here to honor you because that's what it's all about, that Audrey said, that it's about self-love, which is self-care, which is not narcissistic, that we have on the one hand, that we really care for ourselves, because if you don't love you, why should I? So, we're born with love. We learn to hate. We learn to fear. We're not born with it, right? We're bouncy little girls we touch wherever. Why did I become a sexologist? Because I remember that my friend's mom gave birth to a little boy, and I asked my mom, where do babies come from? And she said, your stomach opens up. So I go to bed with my infinite wisdom. I figured it out that babies come from my belly button. So when I was doing my doctoral work, I told my supervisor, I want to work with couples because I do my choreography, how opposites meet, and then you marry that person that you dated, and then all of a sudden you become the wife and the husband and the mother and the wife, and you talk about the children, and what happens? And he says, so what's your problem, Edie? I said, well, they talk to me about three things: sex, money, and in-laws. Maybe not in that order. So he says, well, you know, I met my husband in a TB hospital. I was 17. I was totally bored. I don't know just how it all happened, but he brought me Hungarian salami and Swiss cheese, and people say, well, did you love your husband? Love? What is love? What is love? My definition of love is the ability to let go. Let go. let go of the past hurts and failures. And people tell me, you know, Edie, you overcame. And I say, no. I was at the Sheraton the other day. I came out having a beautiful filet mignon for dinner. I love food. And I never leave any food on my plate. But I was walking on cobblestones, and immediately I was thinking of the children who were spitting at me and told me that I am a cancer to society. And I looked at those children in Germany and I said to myself, someday, children, you will not really be taught to hate. And it just so happened that I was working in a hospital and taking care of German families, and a little girl jumped in my lap and called me Oma. So you see, there is hope in hopelessness. And I want to talk to you about that, because maybe February is your rebirth, your renaissance, that you're not going home, you're going to have a new beginning. Because you were born free, you were born to love. But you see, you can't really give up anything unless you replace it with something else. I remember when one of my patients told me, you know, I pick out on this and I pick out on that, and if you're gonna say something like that, you know, you reinforce the very behavior that you're paying attention to. You cannot really lose weight while you're telling this to yourself. So when you get up in the morning, I like you to look in the mirror and say, I am graciousness, as you walked in here today and I was watching you, and I am beauty, because God doesn't make junk. You're one of a kind, you're a beautiful diamond. I remember when I was teaching psychology, I told my students that, no, there is an American saying that if you would really knew me, you wouldn't love me. You remember that? And I would say, well, I really think that's true. If I really would know you, you would love me. And they would go, you know, like that. So this morning, I also like you to know that I gave birth to my little girl in Czechoslovakia. I came to America, and a few years later, I drove myself to the hospital in Baltimore, Maryland in 1954 because my husband worked for a CPA and didn't let him go. I am, you know, the liberated woman. So I arrived in a hospital, they put me in a crib, you know, and then I wake up in a bed and I ask the nurse, how long do I have to suffer? Because it took me like 24 hours to have my first child. She says, oh, you had your baby 4 hours ago. And I said, that's America. And guess what's her name? Her name is Audrey. I have an Audrey, and my little Audrey's daughter is getting married in May. So this is my biggest joy, to be able to be hopefully a role model to you, that out of darkness comes light, and out of prison comes freedom. And so I'm hoping that this morning is not just any other morning, but it is hopefully letting go, letting go. Because you will not forget what happened to you. You will not overcome. But I hope that you will do what I do. I want to be a good role model to you. You come to terms with it. I don't live in Auschwitz. What keeps me young is that I live in the present, because I can only touch you now. I hope we learn from history. I pray to God that will never ever happen, and I do everything in my power to see to it that your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren will never experience what I did. So, the few minutes, with your permission, put on your seat belts and I'll take you. I'll take you to heaven. When I was a little girl, I had a ballet master who looked at me and said, God built you in such a magnificent way that all your ecstasy has to come from inside out. I had no idea what he was talking about. And when I was on the cattle car, my mom hugged me and she said, we don't know where we're going, honey. Just remember, no one can take away from you what you put here in your own mind. And that's exactly what happened May 1944. I know that because it's documented by the Red Cross. And yes, when I arrived and we were separated, and yes, my mom was in the middle and my sister Magda on one side and Clara on the other side, and Clara was a child prodigy in violin. And her Christian professor smuggled her out and hid her until the end of the war. You would be those kinds of people. You would be the kind of people who commit yourself to go beyond the me, and commit yourself to save others. I really want to honor Dr. D and Marjang, but I also like to tell you, I wouldn't look like this without Sheila. Sheila girl is my precious treasure. Please show yourself. Yes, Sheila girl is the one that you want to surrender to and just say, do me. Just do me, Sheila girl, because without you, my eyes wouldn't be so big. You feel so young and ageless. Don't worry about the chronological age. I never felt as happy in my life as I do now. Really, being with you is such a joy, such a blessing, such a blessing. And yes, it's very true, Dr. Mengele pointed my mother to go to the left and the sister to the right. And for about 4 years, I could not forgive myself. Because Dr. Mengele asked me, is this your mother or your sister? And I said, my mother. And I was haunted and haunted. And I never forgave myself that I survived to the point that when I graduated with honors in the University of Texas, I never showed up for my graduation because I said to myself, I don't deserve that. You see, I didn't need a Nazi, I had one in me. So the word I'd like to offer you today is permission. Give yourself permission to have fun and joy. Give yourself permission to be free. And when I was working with 2 paraplegics in a military hospital, and one of them was in a fetal position, why me? Cursing God, you name it. Country, of course. Conversely, the other one said to me, you know, Doc, I feel so blessed that God gave me a second chance, even though I'm in a wheelchair. I feel that I can look at my children's eyes much closer. I can see the flowers, and here I am in a white coat, Dr. Eger, Department of Psychiatry, and feeling like a biggest imposter. Because I went to school, and I went to school, and I went to school, because I thought somehow I need to deserve that I survived. So I beg of you not to do what I did. You matter. Love yourself. So, when I take you to Auschwitz, I like to point out to you about the choices that were still there. When Dr. Mengele appointed my mom to go to the left and my sister and I to the right, I asked one of the inmates, when will I see my mother? She pointed at the chimney. Fire was coming out of the chimney, and she said very coldly, she's burning there, you better talk about her in past tense. Magda hugged me and she said, the spirit never dies. And that's exactly what I bring you, that spirit, that defiance, that degree recognizing I was not free from the outside, but I created a world inside me. As Precious Windy remembers my words, because I was told I'm never going to get out of here alive. And I said to myself, if I survive today, tomorrow I'll be free. And I'm going to show my boyfriend, because he told me I have beautiful eyes and I have beautiful hands. And that kept me going, that they could throw me in a gas chamber, and yes, we never knew what's going to happen next, because we didn't know whether water or gas is going to come out when we take a shower, but my curiosity kept me alive. So I want to give you my curiosity today, that you don't get stuck in what you hear on the news, that you really know that you have a choice to be a victim, or to be a victimizer, or to be not only a survivor, but a thriver. And that's what your $1 million babies are all about. You're allowing people to live and celebrate life. And without you, and without Dr. D, they wouldn't do it. So I hope that you can celebrate not just in February, but every day. I was liberated in Gunskirchen, May 4th, 1945. A couple years ago, I got a call from Fort Carson, Colorado City. Dr. Eger, we heard about you. You have a good reputation working with the military. Would you please come and talk about PTSD? And sure enough, I go to Fort Carson, Colorado, and I discovered that it's the home of the 71st Infantry. Isn't that amazing that everything somehow comes around? So this morning is hopefully a new beginning, and I really hope that you maybe use me as be your midwife. I thank you so much. I'm so happy to be alive. Thank you. Precious everybody. Take good care. I love you. God bless you.